Flosstube. It is Nikki Diaz, aka Stitchy Nurse Mama, back for Flosstube number 2. So I wanted to start by just being so thankful and telling everybody how awesome you are. My first video, I couldn't believe the wonderful responses. You guys are amazing. So supportive, so encouraging, and it was just really, really cool. I mean, of course I've seen that, right? I mean, I've seen on other videos and people's comments and stuff, but I don't know, it hits different when it's you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and subscribing and hitting the like button and leaving your comments. And I tried to get back to all of them. It was just so cool. And I have to tell you, you know, I'm not a commenter. I've always been kind of a lurker. So y'all have changed my mind on the comments. I will start commenting more because it was really cool. Just the different things everybody had to say, and I love seeing where everybody was from, and it's just really, really neat. So you guys are awesome. Thank you. I think I mentioned last week, or actually it's been 2.5 weeks, in my last video, that my husband's an artist. He did my logo. I'll drop his link in the description below and his Instagram if you're interested in following the amazing things he does. But as an artist, he is always commenting on how cool the cross-stitching community is, because his community is not nearly as supportive. They are actually borderline toxic. I have to tell you, like the criticisms and what people think they have a right to say, and there's a lot of gatekeeping, and so he's always very, very jealous of how wonderful our community is. So I love you guys. I'm so excited to be a part of it. So thank you for welcoming me. I have a finish to show you guys. I've got lots of whips and a couple plans. So I've got lots of things to share with you this week. It is Saturday. It is January 28th, 7th, something like that. And it is about 2:00 in the afternoon. So I've had a lot of stitching the last couple weeks. I really, really I was super proud of myself. But before I get into all that, I wanted to address just a few things from the last video. First off, nobody said anything about this, but when I watched the video, I was like, it sounded like I was completely dissing the kits, because I mentioned that that's where I started, that I was a kit stitcher exclusively. And it's just kind of my tone. I was like, wow, all right, stuck up. Like, it sounded like I was downing it. I'm not downing them. I still love them. I have 4 or 5 dimension kits upstairs in various stages of completion. I've got one right here that I started last week because as like a palette cleanser, right? You know, look at how cute this is. That light is hitting that. Okay, there we go. Frog parking. All others will be towed. It's so cute. I mean, it's not much to show, right? It's just I've got, you know, just the start of one of the little froggies in. So gosh, I did not mean to sound like that. I think that for me, the fact that I only ever did kits made it completely foreign that you could change fabric, that you could change a color, that you could do whatever you want. So just wanted to clear the air there. That I do not have a problem with dimensions kits. I think they're cool. Although I have to say, tell me what you guys think, that the quality of the floss with those things has gone downhill lately. What do you think? Maybe I'm just becoming a bougie stitcher. I don't know. But like at the last couple times, and even with this one, I was like, I feel like they break easier. So dimensions, don't do that. And then the other thing, I got a couple comments, positive ones. They were like all positive, but lots of nurses chiming in. Hello, nurse world. Love you. I always tell my husband that nurses were kind of like the mafia. You don't really want to mess with one of us because the rest of us will come for you. But had a couple people talking about nursing, and I had one person who asked, gosh, how are you taking stitching to work if you're a nurse? God, I don't get breaks. And I am an infusion nurse at an outpatient clinic. I did bedside. I worked med-surg float. And no, you don't get breaks. No breaks. For the uninitiated into nursing, that means that I was in a hospital on what are called medical surgical floors, which is kind of the catch-all. And float means I went to a bunch of different floors where they needed me that day. And yeah, you don't get breaks in a hospital. You absolutely do not. So after the pandemic, I needed something different. I was burnout. I was disillusioned with administration, and luckily a wonderful manager who I had worked with previously had moved to infusion, and I was just looking for anything else, and I just emailed her and I was like, hey, if you have an opening, would you consider me? I'm looking for something different. And luckily she did, and I've been in outpatient for a year now. So I do get breaks, which is pretty cool. I do miss being right there at the bedside sometimes. There are certain things that I miss, but infusion's really cool. I'm learning a lot about a lot of different meds. I get to start IVs and draw blood all day. So for my fellow nurses out there, I dig it. The 5 days a week is tough to get used to. It really is. But no holidays, no weekends, and breaks. So I like it. But I will say, if you're a nurse and you need something different, it's okay. I think that there is this kind of stereotype, this almost prejudice that, like, if you're not in the trenches, that you're not nursing. Like, I caught some flack when I left to do outpatient, and that's BS. You can do whatever kind of nursing you want. You're still a nurse. So, okay. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk back to cross stitching. But I just wanted to kind of share that too. Okay. So I said, yeah, I got so much stitching done in the last couple weeks. Like, I was kind of dipping my toe into Team Pretty and Put Together. Don't worry, I'm still a hot mess stitcher, but I was really, I was keeping track of my stitch counts, and I was really motivated, and keeping track of each project, and that works for me. That doesn't work for everybody. Some people, that stresses them out. So if counting your stitches stresses you out, don't do it. It's your journey. Do whatever makes you happy. For me, I'm a numbers person. I like statistics. Kind of weird like that. So I like it. I like my stitch count. So I was really keeping track of my stitches and doing really well. And I kicked some serious butt in the last few weeks. Last week, I did over 4,000 stitches, which was crazy. I don't think I've ever done that much in 1 week. And as I mentioned in my last video, I am not a fast stitcher. I am a slow stitcher. So, my husband and I had a lot of nights where we just wanted to chill, and he sat there and he was drawing and doing his thing, and I sat there and was doing my thing, and got a lot done. So that was cool. So I have a finish. I finished my January Quaker, which is so stinking cute. I love it. This is a monthly Quaker series that I picked up at my local shop when I just happened to see it. Let's see if I can get that. You can still see the hoop. But it's so cute. So yeah, I love this piece, and I loved stitching it. I really did. It's 1/1 on 22 count Ariosa. I had this in my stash. I have never used it, and I just like, let's give it a go. So I did, and now what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do all the months on this piece, because I'm pretty sure they're going to fit. I got to do a little more measuring, but you see how big this piece of fabric is. So I think I'm going to do like 3 over and 4 down, and just do all the months on here. I did not use called for threads. I used one of the called for threads, I think, but not in the right place. So I did DMC, what did I do? I wrote it down. 931, 336, and 3760. And then that January is in silken threads, silken colors. in a color called Winter Blues from the Thread Gatherer. So that's what I did the January in. And then if you watched my last video, I was kind of going back and forth. I was going to use Classic Colorworks Blue Corn, but when I put it down there, it just came out like almost black. Like it was almost like the blue wasn't coming through enough on the 1/1. So I switched it up and I used Gentle Arts in Midnight and in Blue Jay. So those are the other colors I used. So I just kind of grabbed a bunch of blues and I was like, go, it's a Quaker. You can do that. So the next one is the February one, which I'm actually going to wait and start in February. So there it is. I think I'm going to switch out that light color for a darker pink or a darker red. I haven't quite decided what I want to do yet. I like this here, but I'm not crazy about this tan color, so I might switch that out. But you can see it's NeedleArt by Wendy, and there's one for every month. I've got this one, and March I need to order the other ones, but super cute. That's my second finish already for 2023, which is so exciting because all of last year I had 2 finishes. So I'm already tied. Which reminds me, thank you to everybody for your wonderful condolences on the passing of my mom. They meant so much to me, and hearing your guys' stories about projects you started for people and, you know, didn't finish in time or had trouble finishing because of passing. Anyway, you guys freaking rock, and I love you, and thank you so much. It was a comfort, and I appreciate it. I meant to say that earlier. Okay, so works in progress, WIPs, if you are not familiar, WIPs. So last video, we talked about the Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along this year, the Reaching Skyward, which if you haven't gotten it, you should get it. It's awesome. And I was waiting on new fabric because I wasn't thrilled with my fabric. Well, I got my fabric and it was like teal. It was really pretty, and it's pretty fabric, not for this, not the feel that I wanted. So I kind of went back to the drawing board, and my husband said, why don't you try a different green? Because initially I was using a dark green. I was using Classic Colorworks Balsam Fir. And he tried to tell me this right from the get-go, and I didn't listen. He's an artist. I should have listened. So I went back to my original fabric and tried a lighter green, and I love it. So this is where I'm at. I'm almost done with January. Oh, sorry. Let me get my needle minder out of the way. So I've got more over here. Let me get that out of there. Anyway, I am now using Classic Colorworks Mistletoe, and then Ye Old Gold. So you can see, I really like it. This is 32 count Belfast. It's called Plain Air. The other thing that I did was switch to a smaller needle. In my other 32 count, I was using a 26, no problem. I switched to a 28 in this one and liked it much better. So yeah, don't be afraid to try a different needle size. Sometimes it makes a difference. My stitches are not wonky. I just stink at putting things into Q-snaps. So it's not really sideways. I just have my tension all funky. Of course, part of that problem is that I've completely Frankensteined this Q-snap, because this is, you know, the January section is long and thin. So I took apart a couple Q-snaps and got some of my extenders and just made my own size. So, so the tension's a little wonky. But so I am about 3,500 stitches in on this bad boy. I've got just this little bit of little stars here and then this to fill in, and I'm done and I'm on track. I can't believe it, but I'm thrilled. I've been hitting this really hard the last couple weeks. So yes, so excited about that. My friend Jeannie is done with hers. She looks awesome. She's doing a different color look. I'll have to ask her. She told me, and I've forgotten. So these are my colors. And of course, I've got a bag of like 20 more. But you can see that mistletoe is a nice bright green, which I was really worried about at first. I didn't want it to be too bright, but it's working. So I'm doing 2/2 on the 32 count Belfast. And then there's the Yield Gold. So yes, loving it. Loving it. Love stitching it. I love modern folk embroidery. I also, what else did I do this week? I put in 400 stitches on one of my Hades. I'm part of a group on Facebook called like Fandom Central Stitching, and it's really fun. The stitching challenges are really fun. If you're in that, go Team Ents. It's Lord of the Rings theme this year, so I'm intrigued. So I needed to do something with stone in it for one of my challenges, so I chose my meeting on the turret stair. So I did 400 stitches in this column right here. This is on a 22 count linen of some unknown origin. I'm doing 2/1, which is a little bit of a push, but I like it, and I like the crowd. I like the coverage. I will have my husband input somewhere what this will look like, what it looks like when it's done, the whole picture. And then I will ask him kindly to put in a picture of me playing Guinevere in a dance piece that I did some years ago, because the dress looks the same, which is why I chose this piece. So yes, I love her. I'm excited to keep, I mean, every time I do several hundred stitches on this, I just love seeing it come out. So this is a mini on the Hay. This is not the full one. This is a mini, which is still an insane number of stitches, but yes, I love it very much. So I did 400 on that this past week. Where can I put this? And then something I did not show in my first video that I did several hundred stitches on this past week was my Cryptids stitch along from the Witchy Stitcher. This was something I started several years ago as a stitch along, and it fell to the side. It was a casualty of trying to do too much. It's so stinking cute. I'm doing this for my son who loves cryptids. But it's really, it's a really fun, it's a really pleasant stitch. It's on 30 count Old Salem linen from ThePrimativeHare, which was the suggested fabric for the stitch along. I'm doing all the called for DMC except for these names. And then, like, it's really hard to see, but in the corners of these frames, there's just a little bit of color there. I am using another Silken Colors from the Thread Gatherer. This one's called Red Currant Wine, and it was another limited edition, but it's really nice. It's got some nice variegation, really smooth to stitch with. It's fun. I like stitching with the silks. So yes, that's where I'm at with that. Someday, that's my needle minder making that noise, which is the Cone of Doom needle minder from the Witchy Stitcher. Look how cute. Referencing the big old cone of 310, DMC 310. So stinking cute. So this square that I'm working on right here will be the Kraken. She last year did another stitch along as a companion piece to this one with supernatural creatures. That is also just adorable, which I wisely chose not to do, but I may still go back and do it. So it's got like fairies and ghosts and things like that on there. Very cute. So I did a little bit on that this past week. What else did I do? The temperature bookshelf. I'm about a week behind on this. I'll probably catch up tonight. I've been like catching up at the end of the week for this one. Again, it's Ohio. I live in Columbus, Ohio. The weather's everywhere. I mean, you can just see from this thing, like the greens to the blues to the dark blue to green to back to blue. It's just nonsense. It's been a little more steady this last week, so I'm hoping I get a little more of a gradient. This last piece, I don't think you can see it, but I added a little sparkly thread over top of it because that was my Momo's birthday last Sunday. She turned 88. So I decided on any special occasion I was going to add some sparkle. I haven't decided. So this pattern has these cute little kind of doodads on the bookshelves. This is from KristisCornerNeedle on Etsy. She's got several versions of temperature patterns. And like, so on her pattern, this is a clock. If you watch Bendy Stitchy, she did this last year and she kind of added her own knickknacks, which I thought was so cute. I don't know if I'm that creative. So, we'll see. I'm on the fence. Like, I kind of want to try it, and I kind of don't know if I can come up with stuff. Like, for this one, I thought it would be perfect if I did the YouTube symbol. Easy, right? Red with the white triangle. So I was like, since I started my Flosstube in January, I'm like, that'd be cool. I'll do a Flosstube. But then I'm like, am I going to be able to come up with enough for all the rest of the year? So I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm being a wuss about it. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm probably going to get caught up on that this tonight, get it the rest of this past week in there. I keep track of what the temperature is in each given day and kind of just do it all at once. That's pretty much everything I worked on the last couple of weeks. Like I said, most of my time was on that modern folk embroidery. I really was trying to knock that out so that I could get caught up. But I'm on track with my Whip Go, which is so exciting. If you don't do Whip Go, it's a Facebook group, and it's kind of like this little bingo card, and you put your whips on there. Or it's really cool because they have this rule that's like, it's your board, it's your rules, do what you want with it, which I really appreciate. So I have like a few spots on there that are like new starts. I also have, my son's name is Dominic, my husband's name is Rico. So I have Dom's choice, where I'm going to let my son pick one of my whips, and Rico's choice, so I'm going to let Rico pick one of my whips. So I'm really on track with that because my goal is 10 days of stitching per whip or a finish. So I finished my first one, which was the hot cocoa piece from my first video. And then my modern folk embroidery came up as my second one, so I kind of lucked out there. I'm interested to see what happens next month when I'm trying to keep up with that and doing a Whip Go. So we'll see. I have some plans. So kind of haul, I guess, kind of not, but I got the Fangirl Fibers Ohana Means Family from Lilo and Stitch. So this is the cute little bag it came in. Look at it, it's Lilo. And that's his little boo angel. Aren't they cute? So this is a countdown to Valentine's Day. So it's got all these little packages in here, and you start opening them on February the 1st. So I've been a very good girl, and I haven't opened any. But you can see. So yeah, it's just a countdown to Valentine's Day, and it's got all kinds of stuff in here. So I'm excited. It's from Fangirl Fibers. And it came with this cute bag, and then it came with this little kind of project bag with a pen and some little scissors and a notebook. So I'm very excited to start that and see what's in there. It's my first time doing kind of one of these Advent countdown bags. So that I get to start that next week. So cute. And then my Whip Go numbers for next month pulled up this one, which is the Alice in Wonderland. This was also a stitch along. That didn't happen. This is from Owl Forest Embroidery. It's a hot mess. This is where you see the hot mess stitching, guys. Look at how wrinkly everything is. So, but yes, I love this piece. I think it's really cute. It's really fun to stitch. I'm going to have to find out what fabric I'm using. It's a 32 count. I know that because generally with me, if I don't know what kind of a fabric it is, it's generally 32. It's my favorite. But I don't remember where I got it or what it is. So hopefully I have it written down somewhere. But it's got all these cute little Alice in Wonderland things. And so that's my whip go for this month coming up, and I'm excited. I'm using their threads that you could buy. So the pattern was free, which is cool. And then they had an option where you could buy a thread pack from them. So a lot of them have this really nice variegation to them. This one's one of my favorites. This orange to yellow. I don't know if you can get the threads right now. I've seen a couple Flosstubers talk about Owl Forest Embroidery. They're in Russia, and I'm not sure we can get, I haven't verified that, but I've seen other Flosstubers say that you can't get their stuff right now, which is kind of a bummer. But the pattern is digital, so I think I can't imagine why you couldn't get that. So I'm gonna work on that, and then my other one is the other Modern Folk Embroidery. This was another Sal. Are we seeing a pattern? But I started this late, and I knew that I wasn't gonna keep up with it, so I didn't have that. But this is the one from a couple years ago. This is Fruits of Plenty, which I showed briefly on my last video, but I went ahead and took it out of the Q-Snap. So this is probably my favorite piece right now that I have. This is on 32 count Belfast in Winter Moon. And I'm using Weekly Dye Works in Whiskey and Havana. And I just love this piece. I love stitching on. Now, this part here is a beepity beep. It is not, it's like, I love how it turns out, but man, when I'm stitching it, I am cursing up a storm. But gosh, is it gorgeous. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I have to show you guys this needle minder. Look at this needle minder. I don't know if you can see it. It says resting stitch face. So it's one of my favorite needle minders. So anyway, so yes, this is my other whip go for next month, which I'm excited because I love stitching on this piece. Like every time I stitch on it, it just kind of, I don't know, lifts me up a little bit. So I'm excited to get back to that one. Okay, I'm checking my list here. I think that's everything for the last couple weeks. So yes, I am very excited, and you guys are wonderful. And I have to admit, doing these videos is part of what's keeping me motivated, because I'm like, I gotta have something to show people when it's time for me to do a video again. So it's been really cool. I've been keeping my stitchy bug going. So if you have any questions, if you have comments, please leave them. I'll try to address them either in a future video or in a reply. And thank you for stopping by and watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy stitching!